Imagine trading the sun-kissed beaches of the Caribbean for the bustling metropolis of global career. From luxury hotels to the heart of diverse cultures, our guest today has lived a life of adventure and exploration. But it was amidst this vibrant tapestry of experiences that life took an unexpected turn.
And we found out a year after his birth that he has a very ultra rare disease, 1 in 50,000. To be rare, it's 1 in 2,000. But ultra rare, it's 1 in 50,000.
Wow.
It's called 5B minus syndrome, and it affects neurological and physiological delay development.
Meet Laura, a woman who transferred her world from one exotic travel to one of extraordinary resilience.
I am a mum, Anna Ali, as my Egyptian colleagues often tease me, Anti Ali. And I'm like, isn't that the dessert? I am Ali's mum, first and foremost. I've been gifted this child. And only when I came out of the anger, oh my gosh, it's my DNA, I did that to him.
A mother on a mission. She's navigated the uncharted waters to parenting a child with special needs while building a thriving career.
When did Laura, the dreamer, to be bigger and bigger and bigger, stopped to start as a mom from zero?
She never did.
How did you convince that Laura to just like hold on that dream and say, hey, let's go to basic. I am almighty now. How did you convince her?
Today, she's not just a survivor, but a champion for countless families facing similar challenges. Join us as we delve into Laura's inspiring journey, where courage meets compassion and determination paves the way for a brighter future. Get ready to be moved, inspired, and empowered as we explore the extraordinary life from an extraordinary woman. Welcome to Monday Talks, Laura.
It's a little something from the heart. You know, every subscription, every like, every share means the world to me. So it's not numbers, it's about incredible community and understanding and knowledge sharing. We're building a community together. So if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button, drop a like, and share with your friends. It's not just a support, it's a journey. Just like we said, we're taking it together to spread these great minds and their even greater stories. Monday Talkers, here we go again. Imagine a world where every neurodiverse child and their family feels supported, understood, empowered, and mostly shame-free. Today, we have a truly special guest who is making this vision reality or working on it. She's passionate, advocate, coach, and the inspiring force behind the neurodiverse family events. With a deep personal connection to the challenges faced by families of children with special needs, she dedicated her life to provide support, resource, and hope. Her expertise in coaching and advocacy transformed countless lives. Please join me welcoming extraordinary Laura Laugier. Hi, Laura.
Hello, thank you for having me, Daniel. I am so thrilled to be here.
Welcome to the show. Direct to the point. Who is Laura and what does it mean to live as a mother of a special need kid?
Thank you. First off, I have subscribed already.
Thanks.
Especially after this interview, I'm going to share it with my friends as well. You've interviewed quite a few people that I really admire. So thank you. It's a privilege to be here. I self-brand as a coconut from the Caribbean. I was born in Trinidad and Tobago. These are two little islands in the Caribbean, or West Indies for many who play cricket with us. And that was 40 something years ago. I grew up there, left at 18, and I studied and lived throughout the world. I studied in the UK. I have 2 degrees from there, and then went on to a spectacular career as a deluxe luxury hotelier with companies like Four Seasons, Kempinski, Roccoforte, Savoy, and most recently with the Madinat Jumeirah here in Dubai. I traveled, 9 countries. Can you imagine that? 9 countries, including yours. Beautiful Jordan. Yeah, spent a lot of time there. And then 6 years ago, I gave birth to a beautiful little boy called Alexander. And we found out a year after his birth that he has a very ultra rare disease, 1 in 50,000. To be rare, it's 1 in 2,000. But ultra rare, it's 1 in 50,000.
Wow.
It's called 5B minor syndrome, and it affects neurological and physiological delay development. And we're 6 years into the journey. And 2 years ago, I purposely chose to step out of my corporate high-flying career and step into his space. And I'm loving it ever since. And that's why when you said dedicate her life, oh yes, I work my life. I definitely work my life.
Beautiful. I love the thing that you have incredibly been open about your son's journey with this really extra rare syndrome. What inspired you to share your story publicly? I mean, how have you been that's the perception shift around this autism and other development disabilities? How can be that open to our own very personal stories?
Well, I'll tell you a not so secret. I'm married to an Egyptian. Yes.
Sure.
Coconut, my son is half coconut, half pharaoh, as I affectionately call him. So living in Dubai for the last 14 years, having lived in Asia, spending quite a bit of time in the Levant and Africa, I saw quite a lot of different cultures. I come from a tiny little island where we learn about all of you guys. Many of you don't learn about us, but that has bode me well. And when I stopped working and came into Ali's space, I noticed that there is a whole world of inclusion. And apart from therapy and clinic, and as he gets older, I'm the data point. I'm the one who has to coordinate everything. And I thought, hang on, who is there to tell the other parents like me working full-time, 12 to 14-hour days to make ends meet and pay the therapy bills and the special schools, etc., etc. If I hadn't come out, I wouldn't have known about it. There was nobody there to hold space for me. And I'm thinking, if there was a Laura around at the time when I was going through the first 5 years of my journey, things would have been very different. And not necessarily for my son, because he got all the therapy he needed. Everything. He has a neurologist, neurological development pediatrician, X amount of therapists, a special education needs department at school, learning support, even home support. So he's sorted. But for me as a mom, think about your own mom. How much she has done for you, how hard she worked. We give our children what we didn't have, right? Who's there for the parents? And then I started rooting around and joining support groups 2 years ago. And I'm like, we sacrifice. Nobody talks about it except behind the WhatsApp closed door. Nobody's out there talking about it. In our region, there are maybe 2 or 3 other parents of children with rare diseases who publicly are out there talking about it. And here's the thing, if my child is 1 in 50,000, that means there's less of us. There are quite a few parents talking about neurodivergence in terms of autism, ADHD, it's growing. In the United States, it's 1 in 33 children have autism or are autistic. There's even a whole language around it. According to the World Health Organization, worldwide, it's 1 in 100. So they get a lot of coverage. But our cause, the rare diseases, we don't. And it's for various reasons, apart from statistically, we are less, but also culturally, the stigma. And I don't know if it's shame, but more of, I don't know what to do. After a certain age, and the doctors say, okay, we've done all the therapy we can, and it's still where it is. Who helps us with the anger, the denial? Who helps us with the acceptance?
Okay, let's talk about Laura, the mom. The first moment you get to know about this. What was the most difficult thing to absorb?
To decide which job. Took me 2 years to step out of the corporate identity of I am the director. I am the C-suite. That was a wrong job for me. I am a mom, Anna Ali, as my Egyptian colleagues often tease me, Anti Ali. And I'm like, isn't that the dessert? I am Ali's mom, first and foremost. I've been gifted this child. And only when I came out of the anger, oh my gosh, it's my DNA. I did that to him. And by the way, it's a 90% chance of him getting this. And it happens in the conception stage. So we could not have controlled it. It's not, in our case, as far as we know, not hereditary. It was by chance. I got over the anger, the denial. In the first 2 years, I'm like, okay, we only need 3 years of therapy and then we're good. Guess what? Year 3, year 4 came and I'm like, so once I got out of that space, anger, denial, and I started saying, hey, this is not a sprint, Laura. This is a marathon. What are we going to do about it? And that's where it is now. I am the mom of Ali. We are only 5 years or 6 years, he's 6 years old, into the journey. And we have, inshallah, a very long way to go for the rest of my life.
When did Laura, the dreamer, to be bigger and bigger and bigger, start as a mom from zero?
She never did.
How did you convince that Laura to just like hold on that dream and say, hey, let's go to basic. I am Omali now. How did you convince her?
I convinced her by, I said something earlier, working my life. You know, when I left my hotel career, Friday, 13th of May, 2022, I'll always remember that day.
Yeah.
It was the day His Highness passed, the Sheikh of the United Arab Emirates, the president of the country passed. And I realized at that point in time, I already had a C-suite job. I was a co-owner of my husband's, our family business. I owned a company. I wasn't a director. I owned the company with him. I had another company to write the pre-opening training of a very famous Museum of the Future here in Dubai. I was a consultant on that project. And I thought, hang on, lady, you're already directing and executing and being the boss of your life on that side. How about you be the CEO of Home, the Chief Everything Officer, by the way? What would happen? What would happen if I took my skills of my 31 years of employment as a full-time employee? I'm doing it anyway. I work 24/7 at home anyway as a mom. What if I started pulling those skills and putting it in this space? And then I started doing that. And guess what? That's where the idea for neurodiverse family events came up. So I became an arbab for a second time. My second commercial license came up.
Nice.
And that's where I realized I didn't have to give up my executive skills. I didn't have to give up my executive coaching. I just had to do it differently. And that's where I'm having fun right now.
That's Laura. Let's talk about
Mhm.
not Ali, Ahmed or Muhammad. That's living the experience now.
Mhm.
What should her do? And she's like you, and a very speedy, climbing the ladder, traveling the world, and all of a sudden has to sit home. No movement.
First, take a breath. I would say to that that mama, take a breath. Because the very first thing we have got to do is take stock of what's important. And what's important is our purpose. Is your purpose to be the best mom you can? Is your purpose to be the best executive you can? Is your purpose to be whatever it is? Once you have that in your sight, and it could be as Ali or as Laura, the up-and-coming professional woman, man, whoever you are, take a deep breath. This world is so fast. Daniel, within 2 weeks of connecting, we are sitting online recording this. How fast is that? 5 years ago, we would have had to go to a networking event in Dubai, exchange business cards, have a chat, and then probably come and sit somewhere. Technology is a gift. Technology is a gift.
Sure.
And life is going much faster now. So if we don't stop, take a breath, go slow. There is something called the Pareto rule where we take 20% of our time to plan so that the 80% left over, the execution is done much better, more efficiently and more effectively. I firmly believe in that.
Is it one time to get the truth and accept it, or is it like every time you have to have such kind of reminders that I have to keep going? This is like it's gonna pass, and I know I can do better to my son, and he was not supposed to walk. Now he's learning to jump, just like you said last time.
Yes, when
So
we chatted
there
before.
is hope. There is hope, right? So
yeah, I love that. Is it one time? No, it's every time we take a breath. Every time we take a breath, we have the opportunity to be grateful. Every day we open our eyes and say, thank you, God, thank you, universe, for today, whatever it brings. Every time we put our head on the pillow and think back to the day we just had or the day that's coming tomorrow, it's an opportunity to reflect.
no
Every
matter
time
how
you get
strong,
quiet.
no matter
Yes.
how strong you show that you are, okay?
Yes.
And this strength face you hide behind, there are weakness points, right? Especially when you put your head in your pillow, just like you said.
Yes.
When you're alone and when tears just like jump out of your eyes.
Yes.
You know, you cannot give in front of your kid or your front of your husband, for example, because you promised to be that best version of you. And you are doing great job by building up a community and all that stuff. But what about those moments when you are...
Especially those moments, because guess what? When the tears are falling and you are sobbing, you're taking deep breaths. So cry. Find a corner and cry. Up to last week, I'm not shy to say it, I was sitting on the kitchen stool crying because my help at home actually went on holiday, well-deserved holiday. And for the first time, I was taking care of everything together in a long time. I've done it before. But I chose to step out of the executive and the CEO and make my home, my office, my kitchen, my meeting room. And I was on the kitchen stool crying because I didn't do it perfectly. Not to the standard that Laura likes it up there. And guess what? After that cry, it was like a detox. It was like a cleanse. I picked myself up, finished making the rice and dal that I was making, took little one up, and I was saying to him, Mommy is sad because sometimes I just need to sit down and cry. You know what? I don't know, because if he's able to understand, he just hugged me tight. He was like a little octopus. And I started crying again, Daniel, but different tears, because this is why I chose to step out of corporate, to have that moment. And that gave me the breath to finish the bath time, dinner time, bedtime routine. And believe it or not, when hubby came home, he joined in the party.
Yeah. Is it different when your child has something like that? I mean, how do you see him? Closer? You love him more? Or you just like feel there? Connection is the game. If he cannot communicate every time, and you're struggling to understand his needs sometimes, not the basic needs, but when he wants to go or he wants to drink or it's like by the hour. But his needs, his wishes, his like hobbies, okay, it's hard to discover.
No.
There
was a study by a professor, Mehrabian, I think, who says 68%, I think, of communication is body language. And I've been privileged as a learning and development specialist to have access to that data to teach it to hoteliers. Why do we smile when we welcome you to the hotel? It's more welcoming and approaching. I don't have to say a word, but you can see my smile as you enter the front door. If you see me crying, you know something is wrong. I have learned to mind read a little bit. And they say the innocence of a child is something that we really have to enjoy, because they don't hide. They don't know how to hide things. They don't know how to mask until they are taught by society or their parents or school. So while my son is able to very much smile at me, I look into his eyes and I can see the little laugh lines. If he's sad, I can tell. That's all I'm looking for. And that hug, that's more than 1,000 words. That's more than a half an hour chat. So for me, I think for anybody, and the body language experts will tell you, you have to be looking. You have to be looking, hearing, and feeling somebody. You don't just look with your eyes. You listen to them. And you trust your gut feeling. What is it telling you? That's what the best communicators do, don't they? Your gut feeling said, I saw this lady on LinkedIn. I have to reach out. And we had an amazing chat. And here we are today. And I'm hoping that not only your regular viewers are looking here, because you've done over 100 videos, but also those who know other mums like myself, other families like myself, not just those people, but the therapists, the doctors, the learning support assistants, the nannies, the whole circle around these kids, these families. They're not going to come out and say, I'm struggling, but just share the link. And hopefully they see our chat. And I love your curiosity, because that's my biggest ask of our society today. Be curious, ask questions. And that's one thing, Daniel, You have made my whole summer. Really, you have made my whole summer because you are not shy or afraid to ask the questions. Our topic today is about shame. Do I look
Yes.
ashamed?
Never. I've never felt like
No.
even tiny. No. No. I was
I
going to
flipped
raise
it on
this
its
point
head.
actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come. Yeah.
I mean, the families that they have this one child that has a problem, let's say, or challenge, let's say, they hide them. I mean, they don't show them to their relevance, even relatives, and they're not just like ashamed, but they feel like this person is not, let's say, capable to be socialized with their relatives, or I don't know what they're shy to show him or show her in the community.
There are two things there. Number one, when we come out into the community stares at us, judges us.
True.
And
That's
not just the adults, the children too, by the way.
Yeah.
But they don't come and talk to us. They don't ask us questions. It's painful sometimes to bring our life outside. However, compared to when I first arrived in the UAE, when I go out with my little one,
Everybody
I see smiles.
Yeah.
Not everybody. I do see some people who are new to this city looking, frowning, questioning. And then if they see me looking at them, they look away or they smile. And because, you know, I talk too much, if they ask me a question, I answer. In May this year, I was on stage at the Middle East and North Africa Rare Diseases Congress. I was the first parent to speak.
Nice.
And I always say this to everybody. If you see a parent out there having a hard time with their little one, instead of judge them, ask, how can I help? We might turn around and say, no, I don't need any help. Leave me in peace. That's okay. Don't take it personally. But I might turn around and say, please, can you hold my shopping while I pick up this little one? And that's okay. And I'll also say, on the other hand, those of us who don't come out into the community, I don't have my family with me. But I can guarantee you, the friends who do come and visit me and Ali and my husband at home, they do so because it's comfortable for us. And they show him as much love as I would hope. And that's something I'm very proud of. So in a way, it's two sides. I think society needs to help us come out, but also we need to help society. We also need to help society understand what we're going through. And it has to be breaking stigma, culture, me talking up, other people asking me questions, people like you asking questions, being curious. I love it. And please never stop. Please never stop this service as long as you can. And don't just interview me. There are other mums who would come on and chat with you. And I'll give you the long list of them. Yes? So this is something that I really encourage you and other neurotypical podcast hosts like yourself. Be curious. Ask us. And guess what? As soon as I get the recording, I'm going to send it to I think I have access to something like between 800 and 1,000 families on my WhatsApp groups and say, look, guys, yes, we exist. Think about it, Daniel, some statistics. I'm going to geek out here.
How convenient. I mean, what benefits you to be heard?
Well, this is it. You're talking to me, but you're talking to 15% of the world's population, according to the World Health Organization, are disabled. What is 15% of 7-point-something billion? 20% are neurodivergent. They have a neurological condition, which means their brain is wired differently, whether it's ADHD, dyspraxia, dyslexia, hyperlexia, autism, whatever it is, 20%.
Wow.
And then imagine each of us, or each of those people as well, have parents, two of us, So that's
Um,
30% and 40%. Hello, look at the numbers. Look at the
yeah.
numbers, right?
I mean, I guess you were like, because of this, you get so much educated in this matter, and you know all the numbers and all the situation that you might face. But let me ask you this: the future.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, as long as you live, you feel like you can do all the protection your child needs. And then what? I mean,
Well, this is a biggest fear,
job,
right?
education, getting engaged is possible.
I don't
What's the
know.
options?
I have no clue. But one thing I've
Yeah.
learned, when I focus here and now, because I do look to the future, I have frightened myself by like, what's out there? But that doesn't matter. What matters is now. Because when I
Yeah.
focus here and I focus on his happiness and I focus on his sadness and I focus on making sure he's okay now, I'm building the blocks to see what is possible. I was given amazing advice by a lady who runs the Cri du Chat or 5B minus international Facebook group. She has Cri du Chat herself or 5B minus, and she said, focus on what we can do. Focus on what your son can do. And that's the best advice ever. When I focus here now, what is to come will come. And the more time I do this, Danielle, the less worried I am about him because he's a super happy child. He magnetizes love from others. And all I can do now, apart from do my best to give him the best foundation I can. I'm 46 and he's 6. I'm an older mom, huh? Right? It is to create, I live every day to craft and create memories for him that he will treasure when I'm not there anymore.
True.
And by speaking up and building, you said we are building a community. Me too. But you know what I'm finding? The communities are out there, but just in silos. So I just need to be the connector to everybody and not just the neurodiverse families. Neurodiverse families are my family with a neurodivergent child, but your family as well. Because you may be neurotypical, but we don't know. We don't know. Our brains are all wired differently. All wired differently. And with the increase of mental health issues going on, we have to think a different way to survive today. Neurodiverse means neurological brain thinking differently. Diverse ways of thinking. That's what it is for me. Brains are wired differently. That's what it is for me.
Sure. Okay, limited time is left, but I'd love to I know I skipped so many. I mean, we
It's
have
all
a lot
right.
to cover, but the most let's say valuable thing we should highlight in this call. What do you think?
Be curious. Ask a question. Ask your friends and family. If 15% is disabled and 20% it's neurodivergent, you probably know somebody who knows somebody, or you know directly somebody with a disability or a neurodiverse family. You know. And if you don't know, your school, your child's school knows. When there are events out there, awareness days out there, be curious, ask a question. Come and ask me questions. You're going to put my social media links in. I'm on LinkedIn, by the way, because there are not many parents like me who are open and willing to speak up and speak out. Ask me a question. Send me a comment on one of my posts or send me a direct message. I endeavor to answer everybody because when we know better, we do better. Don't we, Daniel?
We do indeed. So it's one thing I learned that moms or parents that have those kind of special soul kids, they don't mind being asked. That's general. Or is it you?
I would say 20% of my mom's groups are open to it. And you can find us easily on Instagram. Hashtag neurodiverse, hashtag disabled, hashtag special needs, hashtag Cri du Chat, hashtag dyslexia, hashtag you will find us.
I really appreciate the time you have cut from your son, especially with the, your home help is not there. So I will not take further, just like one last line to talk to the world.
There's so much going on. We are in July 2024. Many major elections, many kinds of wars, many kinds of conflicts, many things are going on. Don't just look outside. Look right in front of you in your own community. Do that one little thing. A little bit goes a long way to help whomever, but especially families like ours. A smile, whatever it is. One little thing. I want everybody today who look at this in the next 24 hours to go out there and do one act of kindness, whether for a neurotypical or neurodiverse family, doesn't matter. And guess what? When you do that, you feel better. And thank you. Thank you for this opportunity.
That was amazing. And there you have it, Monday Talkers. Smile, pay it forward. Huge thanks to you, Laura Laugier, for sharing amazing story and for being brave, really, to talk about it openly, helping us to learn more and to appreciate or support you, even with the look, with a smile, everywhere we encounter you as a mom or you as a father. This is a message to the world. Be kind and pay it forward. Keep that smile. Let's start from the inside, just like Laura said. Until next time, stay empowered and keep the smile. Thank you very much, Laura.
Take care. Bye, everybody.